Ayun, from MTIT to MAPAR, si Roy, no? Kaya we're very happy that you're with us here. Ayan. So, at this point, we would like to give you the chance to say hi to everyone and perhaps you discuss a bit about the mandate of the office. Siguro we can hear muna no sa MTIT and then si Business Chamber para naman at least medyo naiintindihan ng ating mga participants. Just quickly about the mandate of MTIT and then the Business Chamber.
Okay, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Sana may energy pa ang all.
Meron pa!
Meron pa ba? Parang huwag kayong mag-alala kasi libre pa naman yung dinner. So, the Ministry of Trade, Investments and Tourism is the primary agency that is in charge of working to develop, of course, industries, MSMEs, trade, investments, and tourism in the Bangsamoro. So, medyo kanina no, nami-mention na si MTIT because basically, we have to support our MSMEs, especially we have to promote their products, but one way to promote them is to make them a competitive one. So ano yung competitive? Dapat may certification siya. So that's where the challenge is. So it's not just me, it's not just MTIT, but of course we have to also have MOST with us. So it's not a one agency approach to solve this problem. So we have a big mandate because we have trade and industry, we have the investments, and we have the tourism, we have the economic zone authority, and we have the Polyok Freeport zone. So malaki siya. So if you want to develop halal, you have to really look on all of these areas. So good luck to everyone.
Thank you. So aside from ganda, ano yung role ng Business Council?
Okay, assalamualaikum everyone. I would like to thank the UNIDO for inviting us over here. And also to the old MSMEs in BARMM region. Assalamualaikum again. I would like to give an insight about what is Bangsamoro Business Council. BBC is a gathered civil society organization, business groups, and academic institutions. BBC is a region-wide council composed of board of directors from different provincial business chambers of the region, including Cotabato City, Marawi, Sulu, Basilan, and special geographic area. It is the primary voice and representative of the business sector in BARMM that provides innovative, excellent services and advocacy in attaining globally competitive and dynamic economy. So, naka-umbrella kami sa MTIT, ang BBC. They are the one who facilitated organization of the BBC last October 7, 2021. And we always believe the business sectors are the backbone of the economy in this society. Assalamualaikum.
Ayan, and I thank you, Ms. Norma, for that wonderful answer. Again, so we're throwing the floor now for questions or anything you would like to ask or be clarified on, any reactions. We have still time to raise questions. Anybody, anyone who would like to ask questions? Aba, wala nang gustong magtanong. Ano ba ito? Dahil pagod na ba? But this is our last session, everyone. So take your chance to ask questions to Roy, to Ami, to Ma'am Christine, and to Miss Norma. Yes. Okay. Kung wala daw magtatanong, si Stefan na talaga yung magtatanong. Go, Steph.
If nobody asks, particularly to this panel, I have, after all, lots of questions. We spoke a lot about mindset shift. We are now speaking about consumer demand. How do we get demand? And no entrepreneur will go for halal or generally certified food if there is no demand for it. My question is a very general one. What would be, in your view, the best entry points? How to do it that we slowly and steadily manage to raise the demand, create a mindset shift in the demand, and simultaneously in a balanced approach in the supply, because no one wants to go ahead. It will be very challenging. What are your ideas on that one? We, just as an additional background, we are still planning to conduct quite a big awareness campaign, halal awareness campaign, which includes food safety. And we want to get from you entry points. What can we do? Thank you.
Parang lahat ng tingin na
Oo.
naka-MPIT, no? Ramdam ko yung ano eh. Of course, always, when you start business, you are actually supplying for a certain demand or a market demand for that. This is my experience. I've been part of preparing plans and everything about halal, even in the past, during the DTI arm. A lot of halal awareness training and even Dr. Quit and everything. I have already gone through that. So I was thinking how this should drive demand for us, no, to demand for halal products or services for that matter. I started to teach my son. He was around 6 or 7. And I start to explain to him what is halal and why you should consume halal, because he likes to eat chips. So I started showing him the logo, and you have to be conscious about this because we are a Muslim. We have to eat only halal food. So from that moment that he understood why, then he started to be conscious about it, and he started to check food. Whenever we go grocery, he always asks, you have to check, mommy, the halal. So, you see, when you start educating people, especially young people, that's one way that you cannot really, trick them. Because when I try to, I pretend to not check. I put something in the cart. There's no logo of it. Then he scolded me. Mom, oh, it's not halal. You should put it back. So that's how conscious he was at certain age that, as parents should, start teaching our kids at home to understand halal. But unfortunately, for some of us, we grow up not minding about it because we are Muslim and somebody in the store cooking the food, they're all Muslim. So we don't even care about food sanitation. Because they are Muslim, we don't really care. Because as long as it's a Muslim who prepares the food, then that's okay. But they forgot to learn about where they sources of these materials. Where do they get their oil or their vanilla for their baking supplies, or even the packaging. Education is really important so that you can raise awareness, so that demand will come after that. Because people will start to be conscious about it. So MTIT is doing consumer awareness. We have halal program to support that. In fact, we have consumer forum and halal forum this coming October. But not everyone is really learning about halal and why we should only consume halal. So I think that's where this demand should really come from. We have to really intensify education and awareness. So if UNIDO will do awareness, MTIT do awareness, MAFAR do the awareness, and I think everybody, everyone will learn about it and then start demanding for halal chicken, for example. So that's where MAFAR comes in. So there are efforts like Philippine Halal Manok, and in Basilan they also have what they call this, by Mayra Mangkabong, they have the poultry also in Basilan, but they have a very limited supply. So what should we do to help them? In Cotabato City alone, I think 10,000 kilos is even not enough. There are some times that supply of chicken is, and really not available in just one day, because a lot of restaurants and even a lot of restaurants actually is popping up in Cotabato, and most of it, of course, are cooking chicken. So if we can supply that and people are starting to have this awareness that they should consume only halal chicken, then everybody should investing on chicken. You know, that's where it should be. No, we have to educate ourselves, our family. That's very important. Our family should learn from it, and then the community. We should start them young, so that they will be aware of it. And eventually, you know, if we work together to do this, then everything will fall into places. So the government, the policies should also be in place. Like in Cotabato City government, they have the halal ordinance. So what are we doing as a community in Cotabato City? Do people know about it? No, I don't think a lot of Cotabateños knows about the halal ordinance. But
Okay.
somebody should, you know, work together. The pentahelix approach is a very good approach, and MTIT through the innovation program, we are working to collaborate with MOST to drive MSME development in innovation. So, you know, you can put all of this, but we really need the convergence, even as in the BMOAs. Because we have a very limited mandates for every ministry. So we have to complement our programs and also the development partners with us so that we can really work on this. Kasi hanggang, you know, it's all in the paper. And if we don't do anything about it, halal industry plan will just be just another paper. So we should we should start it now.
Start
Even
it
if
now.
they haven't launched it, somebody should start it. Somebody should champion it. That's what we need. You know, politics is politics, but somebody should champion halal industry development. And let's start with education.
Okay.
So
Thank-
then supply comes in.
Thank you so much for that great answer, Ami. And I believe that children is our future. Teach them well and let them... Oh, alam na alam ninyo. Di ba? Thank you for that. And that's really true. Same story with our daughter. Ganun din ang ginagawa. She's the one checking the label. Given that, I'd like to ask Miss Norma, or Roy, do you want to say something muna before I go on to the BBC?
Can I add something as to the
Of
question
course.
of Sir Stefan as regards creating a consumer demand, sir? I think I want to answer the question in a corporate perspective, and at the same time, insofar as human welfare and development, and also in the perspective of Islam as universal religion. As regards the corporate perspective, we have to understand that creating consumer demand is a strategically marketing challenge on the part of the corporate industry. Why? Because, you know, I was in corporate business before. I was in an investment company in Saudi Arabia. What I observed is that it's not just, it's a cost-benefit analysis. We know that certification, including registration, involves a lot of money. It may significantly affect the profitability of the business. But if we have that mindset, the corporate mindset is that on the basis of cost-benefit analysis, the significant effect of creating a consumer demand is that you are increasing the market share of the business, increasing the revenue. And if that increase in revenue surpasses the cost and expenses, which include actually the certification and other costs involved, then that creates a profit. And it encourages the corporate industry to do more. So that is in the case of corporate perspective. Second is with respect to human welfare and development. That's why I stressed before that the consumer must be a watchdog. We need to establish integrity. We can create a consumer demand by awareness, by visibly presenting the logo, FDA approved and halal approved, then education, and of course we have to build trust. And the corporate players, with assistance from the public themselves, then we can create trust. And the most important is loyalty. Loyalty, if we build trust, but that to us is just temporary, we cannot create a consumer demand in the long-term perspective. Thus, there must be loyalty. And that loyalty can only be established through integrity. The government plays a significant role as to maintaining or establishing the integrity so that we can have a long-term perspective in terms of this FDA and Halal certification. At the same time, uh, uh, the universality of Islam religion. There is actually a misconception that Islam is just for Muslims. It's a universal religion. Islam is a universal religion that caters not only for Muslims, but for the non-Muslims as well. That's why the Prophet said that Islam is actually a blessing for humankind. Our Prophet was sent on this earth as a blessing to this world, and that's my perspective in terms of creating consumer demand. It's not just temporary; it must be a long-term perspective, and integrity plays a significant role with respect to such long-term perspective mindset when it comes to FDA and Halal certification. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sir Roy. Ano ba tayo? Naka-level up pa tayo dun? Medyo mataas yung level ng discussion ni Sir
If
Roy.
I may
Ano?
add, no, kasi nga corporate yung approach, visibility is very important because as you can see in commercials, when you're always in tune with television or whatever marketing materials, you always see this, you always see the logo, you have this information. People, you can start the conditioning. No, people will start to be curious. And that's one way that I think we should popularize halal in the BARMM. And let's provide, visibility materials and any IEC materials for that matter. So that, one by one, people can ask questions about it. So, that's one thing, no? Just to mind conditioning for, how to raise awareness.
Yeah, what Ami and Roy is describing is the power of the brand, the branding, ng halal natin. But let's be specific on that aspect. We can ask BBC and Ma'am Maria Cristina on the side of the chamber. Ready ba ang chamber? Una, to support that idea na magpa-halal certify lahat ng members of the business sectors. And sa ganung dami ninyo, tingin ninyo, willing ba kayo to, because may cost yan. Ang mga members ba ng chamber ay handa to go full throttle of halal and FDA certifications?
Since it's our mandate to help the MSMEs in our region to secure their own certificate of halal, we are very delighted to approach all the SMEs to share their product to us so that we can help them to facilitate the certificate of halal.
Yan. So talagang may plano din ang
Yes.
chamber to go.
Yes, we have. Because actually halal is our ibadah. As a Muslim, we need to protect our ibadah. It's a safetyness of our food and cleanliness.
So it's not just a lifestyle, but also a form of ibadah. Yes, Ma'am Tina, how do you encourage also these MSMEs to be part of the FPIC?
Actually, I was surprised that there's lack of awareness for halal. Because from the food processors, we are gearing towards halal. No, so because we are gearing towards halal because as we know and as in statistics, the market for halal products is really big. No, so so we're gearing towards that, and as I said, in our school, we already established our halal kitchen. Our faculty are trained in halal, and it is part of our curriculum because we think that it's a big market. Now we're looking at the market because we are in the business. So we are in the business side, so we look at that. Yeah. And that's why I was surprised She said that there should be increase in awareness for halal. Yeah. In Indonesia, what I learned was that they do not cook or use anything like in the hotel if the ingredients do not have the halal logo. That's why we visited a lot of companies there, processing companies, and they are all into halal because they said they cannot, survive if it's not halal certified. Yeah. Yeah, aside from that, and because their export also, they have a good export of halal products.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for that. That's very real na discussions, and kung makikita niyo po, that's part of the struggle of the Bangsamoro. For the longest time, we don't have the halal certifications in our place, so people are get used to it. Kaya we have a problem on that. Roy, you wanted to add something?
I just want to add regarding the readiness of the MSME industry. It was explained by one of the panel members. But I think we are ready as to adopting even halal certification. It's just a matter of strategy, whether based on the nature and size of the organization or as MSME. Like for instance, the issue of cost and expenses, which significantly affect the profitability of the business. In the case of micro-based enterprises, of course, you will expect that they cannot comply. But how will they comply for halal certification? That's why there must be a government intervention as to subsidizing the costs. How will the government intervene that these costs and expenses will be reduced to such an extent that it will still result in profitability, and it will expand the business or the MSME businesses. And for the medium enterprises, maybe on the basis of financial analysis or business plan, maybe we can scale. So there must be cost sharing. There must be cost sharing. Government will share the cost, and the business would also share the cost. But there must be analysis that it affects positively the business. But with respect to, for example, medium and large enterprises, where they have such capacity to even exceed the expenses of the organization. So that's we have to leave them. They will make their own strategies. There's no need for the government to subsidize or like that. That's the strategy. I think. Thank you.
There's a need to segregate MSMEs, micro and small, and then the others. We have a member here from the Darul Ifta, the Bangsamoro Darul Ifta. Meron po ba dito? Because if you wanted to say something about this, paano ba natin matutulungan na yung mga consumers natin would demand for halal and FDA certifications? Meron ho bang role doon ang Darul Ifta? Oo, dapat meron, ano? Ang panawagan, dapat meron. Yeah, yes, sir. Please approach the microphone.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May kasama kong ustaz pero nag-share kasi pero bigyan na lang ko ng insights. Sa amin sa Darul Ifta, pwede po kami mag-release ng religious guidelines or fatwas regarding anything about halal. For example, kung may concerns kayo na kailangan ng clarifications about some issues, kung may mga issues man na pwede natin gawaan ng religious guidelines, ano ba yung proper na dapat gawin, or pwede rin kami mag-release ng fatwa, which is religious verdict.
Yeah. Pwede bang mag-release ang Darul Ifta ng fatwa encouraging everyone to only buy products that are halal certified?
Yes po.
Napakaano naman strong. Okay
Yes
po
po,
ba yun?
actually meron kaming fatwa about sa balot.
Sa balot?
Bawal po siya talaga kasi
So hindi pwedeng kumain ng balot?
hindi
Ako,
po kasi
kakakain
sa
lang
Islam
yan.
bawal kumain ng patay.
Sino po yung kumain ng balot kanina? Parang may naamoy po tayo nun. Haram po pala yun, ano?
Yes po.
Oh.
Pero inshallah, kung makababa yung ustad, baka may karagdagan pa
Si
yung
Ustads pwede magpaliwanag mamaya-maya no, sa Darul Ifta. Oo. Ayan. Dinner time. Pwede mag-share si Darul Ifta on
Yes,
that.
po.
Ano yung mga hindi pwede. Okay.
Yes,
Kasi alam na natin yung pwede. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for that. Okay. Do we have... Yes, Ami.
If I may add, no, because of course pinag-usapan na natin ng FDA and everything and then halal. This is the most difficult part for us kasi we wanted sana our products to go national. But unfortunately, we are always nadidecline tayo because we don't have those. MTIT, MOST has program to support our MSMEs to access the support for FDA. I'm not sure kasi sa MAPAR, they have this separate licensing. They have different regulations. But for the processed food, it should go through FDA, of course. And laboratories, we have the MOST. MTIT has a program under the Halal that supports subsidized audit, inspection. I believe may list na rin yung ang aming kasamahan. They have a list already of MSMEs that will be supported under the Halal Prosperity Initiatives to not just MSME in the processing, but also in the tourism establishments. So they identified some. Because we know it's expensive. This is one thing that we should also look into, no, yung ating halal certifying body. Halal certification is expensive, and some of the private sector told us, why should we pursue halal certification if there's no benefit for us? Diba? There's no demand for us. For example, our caterers. That's from the service sector. So I hope we don't have anybody from Parliament, I guess. So this is one thing that was raised last year, even in the PSO summit. We encourage our MSMEs, to get those licenses. If you want our products, to be displayed at the national trade fairs or even in the malls, no? Kung pangarap, you have to dream big for your products. Not just around your province or at the regional or in the Cotabato City. You have to dream big. But of course, you have to also invest. Importante yung ownership. No? So, do not just rely on government support. So, dapat, pag kumikita kayo at kumikita na yung mga produkto ninyo, set aside. No? When there's government support, mas madaling mag-provide ng equity. No? Mas maiba pa rin yung, wow, pinagkagastosan ko yung negosyo ko. No? Your cooperatives. So that support, it would come to you also. No? Yung subsidy na yan, andyan yan. There are programs for that. But of course, we have to look into the commitment on your side. Kasi kung habang buhay na lang ba tayong magsasubsidize? So how will you grow? No? Importante yon because when you go to the National Trade Fair, they would ask you for volumes. That's number one problem for some of our MSMEs that attended International Food Expo or Philippine Coffee Expo, for example, or the National Trade Fair. They are asking for bulk of orders. Kasi nga, tonelada ang pinag-uusapan when you go to national trade fairs. It's not just number of pieces. It's number of container bands. That's monthly. So, you have to be ready for that if you are really serious about your businesses or your products. So those are the things that you have to really, be serious about it. Not just, just BAEP. After BAEP, then what? Stop na rin tayo. No, we should continue. Dapat ganun yung mindset natin na hindi lang tayo mag-aantay ng ibibigay ng government. Dapat meron tayong investment on our side. Because who will invest in us? In BARMM. We have a very negative image for others, those that are outside of the region. So we have to really start investing in our own business. Government is investing on you. Kasi lahat ng pinapadala, tinitrain kayo, that's already investment from the government. So, of course, you have to also invest for your business. So, yun yung dapat dalawa, no? Hindi naman pwedeng one-sided relationship lang tayo, no? So, dapat teamwork. So, ganun dapat. We have to work together because at the end of the day, we are government. Pag yumaman kayo, kayo lang yayaman. Hindi naman kami. Because we need to change the lives of the Bangsamoro people. That's our ultimate goal. This program, BAEP, Bangsamoro Government, yun naman ang aim natin. That's the struggle from the very start. The opportunities that we lack in the past, now we have the BARMM. So you have to really value all of this that you're getting from the government. No? So, real talk talaga to. Kasi BAEP will end, BARMM, government is still there, but, iba pa rin yung proud kayo sa sarili nyo na, I made this, no? I've gone this far kasi may ambag din kayo doon sa inyong negosyo. So, very important na you invest your own may equity kayo when the project requires you for equity, you as much as possible you provide kasi iba pa rin yun. And of course, when you are going through trainings or awareness on halal, you also share it to your community. No, iba pa rin yun. We cannot do all of this, no, for MTIT. I have only 3 colleagues. I have my colleagues from the provinces. Ilan lang sila sa probinsya yung counterpart namin, no? Very limited. So, they cannot go around, especially in the island provinces. Masyadong malayo yung ibang area. So, let us work together. Maybe some of our religious sector here, maybe in the Kutba, we also discuss about halal and how it is important to consume halal. So, ang daming ways to, really raise those things, no, yung mga awareness and everything. So, I hope our MSMEs, after this forum here, after this activity, may matapos talaga, may ma-reach tayo, no, may marating tayo after this.
Thank you, Ami. The pang-closing statement na yun, ano? But we have from PhilCOSED, Philippine Liguasan Marsh, Conservation for Socio-Economic Development. They're also a halal certifying body. Yes, sir.
Shukran, sir. I am Suharto Ahmad, Sharia lawyer by profession. We have with Dr. Nuruddin Quit as halal certifying body. Actually, yung problema namin dito, marami na kaming napunta ni Doc na we encourage to the consumers at saka yung mga investors na yung mga market na magpa-certify sila. Pero after all na ginagawa namin yung lahat ng mahina pa rin. So kanina na may nagkapagsabi na kailangan talaga yung intervention ng local government unit. So LGU, kailangan ma-mandate talaga na bawat registration ng business permit nila every year, kailangan talaga na i-enforce yung certified halal sila. So yun lang po yung kailangan natin is shared collaboration at saka tama yung sa'yo ma'am, magtulong-tulungan tayo to promote halal. And at the same time, we want that our country is magiging ma-recognizing as a halal hub in Asia and entire the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We have invited the MALG, but however, they are quite busy at this very moment. The person who's going to be here supposedly ay hindi ho talaga natuloy dahil sa dami ginagawa. But we'll have an additional activity with the MALG. And yeah, make a comment, yes sir. Quick comment.
I absolutely agree dun sa question niya. Kasi may mga MSME na they're ready talaga to be certified. But wala pa rin. Because the problem is they have that capacity to shoulder the costs and expenses, but perhaps the problem lies with the government themselves, the readiness of the government, the simplification of procedures, the processes. So there must be. That's why the government must fully implement the ease of doing business. So, this is very important. We have to follow. We have the ARTA guidelines. At least we have to set that deadline. We must comply with the deadlines. I think there are many corporate MSMEs, they really want to be integrated. But there's something that the government must push through.
Thank you, Roy. We have last questions. Can we give it to those who haven't raised question? Yes, Ma'am Evelyn of Tawi-Tawi. It's good to hear also from Tawi-Tawi. Please approach the microphone.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My name is Evelyn Martinez, Senior Aquaculturist ng MAFAR Tawi-Tawi. Ma'am, parang rejoinder po no, sa sinabi ni Ma'am Ami kanina. And I'm glad na she brought it out, yung role ng bawat isa. For example, yes, BAF, we have them right now and glad tayo no dahil yung mga organizations na gi-assist nila, meron sila talagang yung mga capacitation. And then sinabi ni Ma'am na lahat tayo may role. BAF will end, MAFAR will stay, MTIT will stay, MOST will stay. So tayo pa rin yung mag-ano. Ang point ko, sir, is while as we have role to play, I also believe our organizations, our cooperative, our associations also have their role to play. Kasi di ba, nag-iisip tayo, siguro lahat tayo gumagawa ng mga project proposals, conceptualize kung anong gagawin. Halos hindi tayo matutulog, lalo na kung budget preparation, di ba, ma'am? Pero para yun sa kanila. And hello, they also have to stand on their role. Ano ba yun? Sinabi ni Ma'am Ami kanina, if Ma'am, check me ha kung nagkamali ako. Hello, nagbabayad ba kayo ng CBO nyo? Simple as that. Ang problema sa amin, sir, sabihin ko na lang sa amin sa MAFAR, ha? Kasi last year, I think, 2024, nag-propose kami ng capacity social preparation activities. Parang to capacitate our assisted cooperative and association. Unfortunately, hindi po siya na-approve ng FFBM and we asked them why. Ang sagot sa amin, it's because hindi daw yun mandate namin ng MAFAR. Mandate daw yun ng CISEA. Hello sir, ang CISEA po sa Tawi-Tawi, I don't know with other provinces, there's only one person na I think retired na rin siya, di ba Ma'am Nay? Retired na rinig ko si Ma'am Nay, kaya i-add ko na din. So how can, hindi ko gibilittle yung capacity niya, no? Pero pwede bang, yes, there is CISEA, pero pwede bang i-approve din yan sa mga ministries like MAFAR? Because we also have our MMOs, meron kaming staff for all over the municipalities. I think we can help. And also, kami yung nag-aano sa organization. Kaya yun ang ano ko, sir. Baka pwedeng makahelp kami sa social preparation para naman ma-inculcate sa ating mga organizations, cooperative, yung role ng bawat isa. Thank you po.
Thank you so much, Ms. Evelyn. And hello, tama po yung kanyang binabanggit daw. She's been really talking about the interoperability of the different ministries, agencies, and offices in the BARMM. Why is it that MAFAR is not allowed to help the cooperatives, kahit sabihin natin si CISEA has a mandate on that. Sir Roy, response to that.
My response is that I think that's a valid question. That's a good question. What I can say is that the MFBM is absolutely wrong. Because the cooperatives, they are not just under the absolute jurisdiction of the CISEA. We have to inculcate, we have to take into consideration that, for example, in the case of MAFTI BAFAR, that we have that mandate to provide services with respect to cooperatives in agribusiness, okay, affecting the agriculture and fisheries operation of the MAFAR. So that's why even in the MAFAR BAFTI right now, with our concurrent director, DG Pen, that's one of the programs we are pushing for agribusiness development for cooperatives and associations, focusing on the cooperative farmers and fisher folks. So we have that mandate. The MFBM cannot just say that because it's cooperative, then it's absolutely under the jurisdiction of the CISEA. I think that's a wrong perspective.
So again, it's necessary that the different ministries will discuss about this, including offices attached to that. We have another one at the back. I'll go to you, but we have response from afar.
Okay, I think other stories are seem that, yeah, BAEP is really supportive of us, especially UNIDO. Actually, they help us in drafting the approval of the certification requirements, accreditation guidelines. And I think from the side of the Bangsamoro government, I think the aggressiveness of who will gonna to institutionalize the accreditation, the certification, we need also to, kasi sinasabi nila na the Bangsamoro government, walang tao nga na manpower that would do these things. So I think it's a push for us, especially calling the MTIT to lead the Bangsamoro Halal Board, although they're leading them, but a little bit more. Yun yung sinasabi natin na, paano nga ba ito gagawin? Office, lodge to the Office of Chief Minister, or office na lodge sa MTIT. I think kailangan natin gawin yun na i-propose natin sa MFBM na dapat may tao nga doon sa accreditation process na gagawin natin. Kasi we are like eyeing na dapat nag-accredit ang Bangsamoro region, pero hindi naman natin na-translate into concrete actions. So I think magandang tingnan natin yun in the Bangsamoro government.
Thank you, Hamsur. I think we go into that suggestion again. Umupo ang lahat ng mga ministries na may kinalaman dito na to clarify.
Sagutin ko na lang ha, because of course we chair the Halal Board. No, MTIT chairs the Bangsamoro Halal Board and Mafar is the vice chair. The office on the halal is actually should be legislated by the parliament. Kasi po, you have to propose for positions. Because right now, halal program or the secretariat is MTIT. It's lodged in one of our division under the Bureau of Trade and Industry. The Trade Regulation and Consumer Protection. Because halal, it's actually consumer concern. So those people in that division are working as the secretariat and implementing programs or activities for the halal. But for the specific office on halal, I think it was proposed to be under the office of originally, in the office of the Chief Minister. But I actually asked our director, what's the status, because that should be an executive bill. I think that's the term. But according to him yesterday, I think an EO will be issued instead of a bill creating that office. So hopefully, people or personnel will be allocated for that so that accreditation of HCBs, because that's the main role of the office, to start implementing the accreditation of halal certifying bodies. That it will not do any certification. So yun nga, as mentioned by our good director, we have to still work with NCMF because NCMF accredits local, halal certifying bodies that are in the domestic market. So what would happen on the side if we start accrediting for the BARMM? Yeah. So that office will take care of that. So of course, I'm not part of the secretariat. I will inform my boss, when is the convening of the board. And this will be raised. I guess the UNIDO people will share the minutes later of this forum. And, we can, relevant ministry will discuss about it.
Thank you, Ami. And bukas na ata tayo magtatapos. Kaya pwedeng ba dami questions? Okay. Please approach the microphone. Ayan, sige. Oo.
Ito na lang, para hindi ka na lumayo.
Thank you, sir. Kasi parang hindi po magiging maganda yung pakiramdam ko if you will not give me a chance to say this. Anyway, since we said that food safety is non-negotiable, for us Muslims, it is our way of life because it is a form of ibadah. Now, we talk about advocacy, campaign, and awareness. What about sanctions? Because nagliparan na po yung mga produkto na hanggang ngayon merong halal logo at ang nakalagay is ummah. OMA is no longer here. It is in the National Commission on Muslim Filipinos. So, if we look at the status quo, ano po ba yung dapat nating gawin sa mga produkto na ito na hanggang ngayon they are using halal logo and then OMA pa. Second, parang hindi po ikakaganda ng pakiramdam ng mga Muslim people, halimbawa po sa Marawi City. How come an establishment, merong mga nakalagay which is already known na merong pork-related products such as piatos, na ang consumer po are Muslims in a community na ang nagbibinta Muslim and then ang consumer din is Muslim. Nagsalita po ako because nananalaytay na po sa dugo ko because I am in the Trade Regulation and Consumer Protection Division. So parang hindi po ako makakatulog ng mahimbing hindi ko po ito nasabi. Yeah. And really, this requires collective efforts, particularly as Muslims.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. You're from the Trade and Regulations. We wanted to know, wala bang ginagawang sanctions ang trade? And kasi kayo po dun right?
Tama po. And this is actually
it's your office responsibility.
Yes. It's our office, but we really need collective effort po.
Okay. Thank you for that.
So any consumer complaints, you can file those complaints to the office of the MTIT. And then just bring your evidence. Yeah, you can actually file a consumer complaint for that. Since wala naman, we have consumer group. Of course, the Dr. Quit is one of the consumer, Bangsamoro Halal Consumer Group or Association, no? Looking at that. So you can become a member of that consumer group. And then, because those are big companies, so it should be a big group, no? Kasi nga, malaki yung babanggain mo when you do the complaint. But of course, any consumer concerns, that should be, you can still file a complaint for that.
Thank you for that. Yes, Sir Roy.
I want to add something. I think it's not just the issue of imposing penalty. There must be penalty, but there must also be incentives. For those compliant industries, MSMEs, we have to give them incentives, subsidies, grants, exposing the product in trade fairs, in tax incentives, like we have the BMBE under the tax code, where there are so many benefits aside from tax exemption and tax incentives. So it's not just a matter of penalty, but also giving incentives to encourage the MSMEs to be certified.
Yeah. So carrot and sticks approach, but also at the same time, I think that awareness from everyone that we believe in our children, it should start at home. So mukhang doon pa rin talaga patungo tayo. That's mukhang kailangan na mag-aalas 6 na po. Gusto niyo bang hanggang umaga po tayo, sir? Sige po, pagbibigyan ko kayo. But one final question coming from that gentleman. Yes, sir. I think everyone's energized, Stefan, so it's okay to get it. Yes. Energy.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Nard Sablao from Basilan, coordinator of the We Say project in Basilan. And siguro, around 50% of our participants are community women, women involved in community enterprises. Pumasok po tayo dito sa larangan ng sustainability, especially sa halal. Ang concern ko is this, when we talk about enterprise, we talk about the regularity of supply, if we have the volume and quality na pwede natin ibigay, especially kung halal siya, But on the context, gusto kong ipasa ito sa context ng mga small producers, especially women, na yung volume of production nila is so small that if they do it individually, there's no scale, there's limited market, The strategy actually is to scale up, And we can only do that through consolidation, Then you talk about 100, 150 women converging together to produce specific product, Yun ang challenge isa dyan kung gusto natin i-purso yung halal because you will be talking to 150 different people, to to have the same discipline as one would like to be, to have that concept of halal. Paano po siya pwedeng i-undertake sa ganong klaseng grupo? Malaking challenge po ito, no, dahil tingin ko kung these people will not agree, no, on the specific requirement and standard, then we have a problem. No? So I think MAFAR and other agencies concerned, because we're talking about 95% of the economy are SMSEs, no? Yeah? So really have to look ano yung policy directions that we can do to address itong concerns nito. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Sounding recommendation for all agencies relevant to these to sit down, talk out about this, and have a resolution for this thing. Okay, and that's it, everyone. Can we give a round of applause to our, bilang panghuli na lamang yun ng ating at babalikan natin yung kaso ni Fatima, which is a question. Let's go back to the case of Fatima. Have we answered? Thank you so much, Ms. Norma of PBC, Maria Cristina Ramos of FPIC, Ami Caron, and MTIT, and Sir Roy Ladiasan of MAFAR. Again, let's go back to the case of Fatima. Have we answered the need, the requests of Fatima? Have we given Fatima that clarity na kinakailangan po niya, that answers na kinakailangan po niya, at matutulungan ho ba natin siya? And we're gonna leave that as a question to all of us and our commitment to help Fatima. So this is an ongoing conversation. This is not going to end it here. We have conversations tomorrow, which very, very important for us to really have a resolutions to the case of Fatima.